Hey, live, chat pack. That's us. Sundays, right here. Wah! What's up, guys?
You're excited.
This is the start of the show.
Yeah.
Let's go, guys. Start of the show.
Hey, start of the show. Dennis is here. Dennis is our guest this week.
With a little extra skin.
I'm surprised he's hanging out. I'm surprised he's not snoozing. He had a busy day today.
Dude, you got so much extra skin. Oh, God. Clean that up. Do some crunches or some facelifts or something.
Dude, when he's an old man, he's gonna have so many wrinkles.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty funny. He's gonna have some very saggy skin.
Oh, man. You're gross.
You're hilarious.
Alright, we should stop making fun
Anyway,
of you. Self-conscious about
This
it.
is Chat Pack Live, our Sunday evening podcast where the four of us, sometimes another friend of ours comes and joins us. We talk about random stuff, probably some video game stuff, usually all the time. Random topics. What's going on? What's crack-a-lackin'? I'm wearing my Colorado Rockies Nolan Arenado jersey in honor of him killing it today.
Boo!
And them coming back right now against the Marlins. It's still a pretty good ball game, but we're missing that. To do this, to bring you this content. But congrats to Ichiro Suzuki for your 3,000th hit. I know you'll never
Almost a
see
home
this.
run.
It was almost a home run. It was cool to see it. You'll never see this, but you did good things for baseball. And you're been a pleasure to watch from this baseball fan's heart. Trevor!
Wow, that was...
What'd you do this week, man?
I was busy with some school things. We should point out, I got some new stream overlay stuff going on.
The little thing
So-
at the bottom of the... I wonder if I can light it up.
I think it's over here.
Over here.
We'll be updating that with our current topic as we yammer on, and then up in the top, what is that? Viewer top right, I guess, our top left. We have a little follower goal, so we're at 11 followers right now. We're looking for 25. Make the little follower thing go up.
So, like,
Tell your
don't make
friends.
8 fraud accounts? Please don't do that.
Tell your friends.
Also, as always, we're interacting with the chat, so if you guys have anything
Please say
you'd like to
hello.
contribute, chat it up with us, let us know. Ben, what did you do this week?
It's the summer. I have not been doing very much, to be honest. I've been working on a couple more t-shirt designs. I have one really close to publishing on T-Fury.
Oh, is that like your published work you were talking about for biology?
No.
Oh.
No, not for biology. So that'll be coming around the corner pretty soon. Just follow me on social medias. Colby33, COLBE 33 on
Wait,
Twitter.
move the tree there.
And then call me Colvin for Instagram.
Viewers are getting can get a better view of Mr. Dennis
Just
here.
put it in your face, in front of your face. Nobody wants to see that. That's a much better
There
view.
you go. That's
You're welcome, everyone.
Hola, oak god, chocolate.
What?
Alright. Never mind. I'm sorry
Mildly
about that.
offensive.
Is that offensive?
Yeah. Well, maybe a little bit. Maybe if there's somebody...
What if oak gods are Arabic?
Hello.
I don't know if that was even an Arabic accent. I wouldn't even call
You're
it.
digging yourself into a hole.
Yeah, I am
Yes.
here.
This is embarrassing.
I'm not kidding.
Moving on.
Anyway, Caleb, what'd you do this week?
I spoke with my Mexican students. I studied more Spanish. What? Don't give me that look.
They're not your students.
It's good.
You're making it sound like
I
you're
have
a
students
teacher.
from Mexico that I am partnered up with to have conversations in both English and Spanish in an attempt to learn more Spanish and to teach them more English. So I did that. I did some rock climbing. Didn't do that well at rock climbing this week, actually. Went to Hocking Hills, took a boat out, which you forgot to say that you did that as well. Ben didn't want to come because he's a bum.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will get to that, won't we? Stay tuned for that, actually. That's about all I did. Spanish, boats, Hocking Hills, which is always beautiful, and I yelled at Dennis a little bit. Also hugged Dennis a lot more than I yelled at him.
Yeah, he's been good lately.
You have been good lately.
Shedding like crazy.
Other than, if you could stop the expulsion of hair.
He's like
I've
molten.
been collecting it over here.
Are you gonna make a
We
sweater?
should make like fur coats.
Yeah.
Is enough.
Honestly, we could take about half of Dennis's skin, and he would still need a little bit more or less. A little less.
You're a big chunk.
You got a lot of skin.
I woke up at 4:30 every day this week, minus one day, but I woke up on 3:30 on accident
yeah.
instead of 4:30, and I get to do that again this week. with going to work. But if you're in the Athens area, join me on Saturdays 2 to 7 on Power 105. I'll be spinning tunes.
PM.
Yeah. No, AM would suck.
I was just making sure.
Be awful.
But no, that'll be cool. But let's get into it this week, fellas. Right?
I'm ready.
Unless anyone wants to bring anything up. Before? Any introductions? Pressing back. Actually, before we get started, Friday, join us at either midnight, like Thursday night.
Midnight, yeah.
I believe we're planning on starting on midnight on Friday.
I thought we were talking about noon.
Noon works better for me.
I think we were planning on doing noon.
Okay, so noon on Friday. This Friday, we are gonna do 24 hours of No Man's Sky when it comes out for PC. Comes out for PS4 on Tuesday. You can probably go watch some streams of people play now. That's cool. It's not us, but we're gonna have fun. 24 straight hours of
We're
playing
a lot
it.
funnier than those people too.
It'll be a rotation of
Better hair.
different people, different people playing the game, doing different things. I literally have no clue what to expect, so I'm excited.
Should be fun. I've been trying to keep
I haven't watched
away from
anything.
any spoilers, any sort of that thing. I know there's like some quintillion planets to be explored,
Yeah.
and
So
that's the
is
extent
it like
of my knowledge.
a massive multiplayer game? Like
Yeah, it's a persistent world. So,
very cool.
Yeah,
Oh wow! I didn't know that.
and when you discover a planet no one's discovered yet, you get to name it, and then that's what everyone sees it as.
Oh, that's
Isn't that
dope.
awesome?
We got a lot of planet names I can think of.
Oh, Doyle rules.
Doyle Rules is definitely one. Catalina Breeze.
Catalina
Breeze. You know, maybe, but that's only funny for the friends. I'd rather someone like discover Catalina Breeze, and if they knew the reference, like appreciate that, than like
Hey,
they would just see
El
Caleb.
Chingon.
Yeah, they would just see like
Right.
Caleb still sucks, and they just think it's somebody just making fun of his friend, which
Well,
obviously
maybe
it is.
if this takes off, then Caleb Still Sucks will be like a trending thing on Twitter.
Yeah,
That's kind of a win-lose for me. Though.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say if
could
we
be famous,
do discovering planets, the first one will be named Adidas.
World.
We're still waiting on the Adidas check to come in.
Yeah,
Our
it's kinda
sponsorship,
I
You got it. You haven't. You're not even wearing anything Adidas right now.
Business cycles.
I have Adidas socks on. You can see.
Fact check.
It's probably not good to shake your head and say that you're not. You don't wear socks.
I wear socks a lot.
That's true. Actually, you
Yeah,
take
they're
them off
all over the house.
They're in the fucking family room all the time.
That's Dennis's fault. He goes up into my room and takes them down here.
No, he takes my socks. He doesn't take your socks. Don't play these games.
Dennis, are you okay?
He's
He's just hanging out.
Literally.
Really. First topic. Let's talk about Ben Colvin. Ben Colvin, if you guys remember, was the one who said a couple weeks ago that you shouldn't high five at sporting events. Or
That's
because
not true.
going to sporting events is lame.
You shouldn't high five because you didn't do anything.
Now, regardless, he in essence, he said you shouldn't high five at sporting events because that's lame. Yeah. Bring
We
the
have-
prop.
we have a prop.
Let's get the prop. This
is
guy's
Favorite beverage.
this is seltzer
That's
water.
also not true.
Okay. Ben has never asked me to go pick up some soda or go pick up some
Oh,
orange juice.
Dennis, that is gross. He's got hair all in my cup.
He has constantly asked, "Hey Caleb, you want to pick me up some seltz at the Kroger's?"
The Kroger's.
Kroger's.
All right.
Another thing I'd like to.
Oh, that was close. Anyway, Ben, you're 21 years old, aren't you?
Yeah.
Ben has the mentality and the behavior and the mannerisms and basically everything of an 85-year-old retiree in Florida.
I think that's a little pushing it. I think about a 55, 60.
You're going that young? Ben's crotchety, man. Ben is crotchety. He's old. Ben, do you want to come on the boat with us this weekend? No. I'm gonna stay inside when it's warm and cold.
It was a good time. You guys all left, and I played my video games. First of all, 55-year-old man, 80-year-old man would not be playing video games.
That's not true.
In this day and age, there's like
Well,
potential that.
look, here's the thing. I think I'm gonna retort here and say that I live with some judgmental people. I go to the supermarket and I get some seltzer water. and I'm criticized for my
Room
choice.
temperature, not on ice. Drinks it straight from the can. Seltzer water.
So
I
good.
go to the supermarket and I buy a frozen pizza. Oh, that brand's not good enough. You need a different brand. It doesn't matter. It's pizza.
It's not pizza.
You people are unwilling to try new things.
All right, wait.
I go to
You-
Little Caesars and get a $5 pizza. I get a $5 pizza, and suddenly that's a sin. That's a sin.
I would literally rather get pizza out of the dumpster behind Pisanello's in Waterville if you're ever there.
That's something. That's something an old person would say. Right there. Unwilling to try new things.
It's not about new things, it's about quality. You're out there picking up a $5 pizza from Little Caesars
I'm-
with their frozen
I'm
ass
saving
dough.
some money.
And yeah, exactly, like an old person who lived through the Depression would talk about.
We eat the most basic pizza. It's all pizza. There's no difference. There's a huge difference.
Waste not, want not.
Also,
An old person saying.
frozen pizza is just not good. If you're gonna get pizza, you might as well.
And if you're getting frozen pizza, don't go with Donato's, which is already a bad chain. It's just gross.
Well, there goes our Donato's sponsorship.
I don't want it. I don't want
Way
a
to
Donato's
go.
sponsorship.
Way to go.
I don't want Donato's or Papa John's. I'm calling them both out.
Speaking of which, isn't there a certain formula you're supposed to be getting us for dough?
Yeah, but we're gonna keep that on DL. Okay.
Yeah,
Nobody else
the
needs to know the
secret
secret formula for the Pisanello's.
Give me the
pizza.
formuloni.
No one knew it was the Pisanello's until you
I
just
have
said
a pizza
Pisanello's.
tattoo on my left calf, which puts me in the running to be in charge of the talk about pizza on this, I believe.
So,
Anyway,
if I were to get a tattoo of a beverage, would I now be an expert on seltzer water?
Yeah.
So I could tell
You should
soda.
totally get a
so
soda.
I
Go
could
get
tell
a tattoo
Paul.
of a beverage,
Okay, I will.
and I will listen to whatever you say.
I will get a tattoo of a beverage, and I will tell Paul every day
I'm
that
gonna.
his Coca-Cola is an old man's drink.
Well,
I don't think
that doesn't mean you get
work.
to just make stuff up.
Yeah.
Kids don't drink Coca-Cola.
That's a lie.
That's a big lie. Also, Coca-Cola is gross.
Oh, it's so good.
It's disgusting. It's gross.
Ben
I
took
don't
the
like
last-
soda at all.
Ben
Carbonation's not my thing.
Hey, you want to know what Ben did? You want to know what Ben did?
Drank your last Coca-Cola?
You're goddamn right.
And
just
you
now.
know,
Just
I
before.
would not have consumed that Coca-Cola if there was seltzer water in the house.
I just remembered I was supposed to pick you up Coca-Cola.
It's all right. I'm gonna take. I want to go for a little brisk jog to
A
Busy
jog?
Day. I'm not gonna jog to Busy Day. I'm gonna
Slosh.
Yeah, slosh is probably a,
Making 2 points of contact with each
if I have
heel, foot.
if I have my slippers, I do just clop, 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 clop.
Little backstory, Paul's the loudest walker I've ever
I'm just a loud person.
heard. Yeah.
Anyway, this is not about me. This is about Ben.
Yeah, Ben, you're an old man.
Ben, you really are.
I like old men.
You whine a lot.
What?
Not whine. You just comment
As
a lot.
friends.
You're just you got that old, like, I'm an experienced seasoned vet. I'm a wise old man
He's an
type
old
thing.
soul.
You just ramble on. You kind of remind
You
me
are a
of
smart
my
guy.
Yeah, you're a very smart guy. You remind me of my father sometimes. Love my father to death. He's got to have his comments. That's where I learned.
Father.
That's where I learned from. So I learned from somewhere.
Hey, I don't hate gay people
Oh, like old people?
like old people. do.
Most old people do. Yeah.
I don't like Donald Trump. Like, well, I don't know if all old people. I know a couple.
Making a lot of generalizations here.
You're generalizing me.
No, we're putting.
This is fact. You can't function without your coffee.
That's like pretty much anybody who's not 10 years old.
I don't drink coffee.
Yeah, but you can't function.
I function pretty well.
I just read.
65% functionability.
But if you drink some coffee, you'd be at 100%.
Shit's gross.
Oh, it's delicious.
It is
gives
good.
me a headache.
It gives me a headache to not have coffee in the morning.
That's because you drink a
Full
lot
of
of coffee.
caffeine.
Yeah, it's a problem.
But you know,
Ben, you're an old man.
most studies say there are no detrimental side effects to consuming caffeine every day.
Nice.
That's interesting.
I'll take that.
Back in the 80s, there was some debate, but that's kind of cleared up.
Oh yeah, you were there, right?
No, because I'm young. 21 years old.
21 years away from 7.
Wubba Chub. says it's hard to hear you guys, so...
I was just about to ask the chat if our audio was good, because I was testing a few things and it wasn't coming up too well, so Caleb, crank us up.
Crank up the volume!
Bump up the volume, bump up the volume. What song is that?
Wubba Chub, if you could give us a little bit of feedback. I just cranked up the volume, I'd say about 15
You're just
20%.
getting it right now.
So,
Yeah, look, there you go.
so as soon as you hear this, give us some feedback. I know it's about a 30-second delay, but whatever. Do you have more to comment about?
No, but...
That was a short-lived.
Yeah, but no, we haven't seen it full, because what you'll notice when we get into the school year and when we get to when it's cold, Ben will start his khakis on sweaters mixed with the socks and sandals.
With khakis.
No, I'm nothing wrong with it. It looks good on him, but again, the clothing is not what the usual college student would wear.
Sweaters are in right now.
Sweaters are in.
I
don't think you have any grounds to talk about style or fashion.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
You wear sweatpants, shorts, and Vans shoes.
I call it as a scene. I haven't worn my Vans in a while, but I probably will start. My running shoes are getting a little beat to shit.
To be honest, I only wear Vans shoes.
We went out the other night and you were wearing quite the variety.
Oh, you goddamn right. I like
What
to.
was it? Sweatpants, shorts.
I think I had green sweatpants shorts on with a collared shirt, blue with striped socks.
and stripes or what's button
A collared shirt?
A collared shirt.
A collared shirt.
Oh, a collared
Female
shirt, yes.
thing.
There you go. No, there's
Okay, not
Blouse.
okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, not a female.
Dude, the fucking the poofy shirt.
The puffy shirt.
Puffy shirt, yeah. I kind of want to get one.
Dude, Jerry got screwed over on that episode. He really had to wear that puffy shirt.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
What was it? It was Kramer's girlfriend or something like that.
Yeah, she's like, was that the coffee table book?
Text reply to him, see if that helps. Anyway, much better. All
Oh,
right.
awesome.
Woo! Bubba Chubb, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, hey, thanks for the help.
Thanks for the
Appreciate it.
feedback. It's
Yeah.
always helpful.
You're just so much better than Caleb.
You know,
Hey, before we get off the topic of
why
Ben,
don't you have Wubba Chub on the show?
Ben,
Yeah.
I got a question for you, man.
Okay.
How much
Oh man, here we go.
Uh-huh.
could a woodchuck chuck?
Okay.
Now listen, this is the important part.
Right.
If a woodchuck
Okay.
still in fact
Was the
Are you ready?
Yeah, I got it.
could chuck wood.
Okay. Well, let me think about this.
Shout outs to Wubba Chubb, Caleb still sucks.
You know, Paul, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. Let's just table that question. I will answer you in a few days.
I'll ask you later. We'll get back to it.
Well, I'll get back to you when I have my answer.
To be honest, I'd like to start talking about Ben's topic because
Yeah.
I know Ben's topic and I'm very interested in Ben's topic.
Ben,
Let's move into Ben's topic.
what's your topic? The old man.
Okay, so actually, I should have mentioned this is stuff I've been doing this week. Recently, I've been trying to
Yelling at young children to get off of our lawn, getting a new walker, and cutting the tennis balls to put on said walker.
Buying more seltzer water, getting a small dog, and then yelling at the small dog for barking too much.
I will never have a small.
Would
Watching
either of
daytime
you
television.
like a bat to continue to beat this dead horse?
Oh, well, let's move on then, shall we?
Okay. Well, Giggles has got some jokes over there.
Crowns.
Anyway, so I've been playing Hyper Light Drifter, which is an indie game.
Really fun indie game.
Yeah, it's a really fun indie game. And actually, the reason I started playing it was I was kind of thinking about indie games and games that are very memorable to me, games I've really enjoyed. And going back, like The Binding of Isaac,
Oh, great
Super Meat Boy,
Awesome game.
Faster Than Light.
Discount mayonnaise. You ever played that?
Discount mayonnaise
I've
got
never
us
played
through some
Discount.
classics.
Yeah.
Discount man, it's just like a game on one of those
Newgrounds.
shot Newgrounds or Shockwave.
Okay, yeah.
But it's every time, as long as you don't clear the cache or the browsing history, it'll save itself on the website. Which is interesting how they do that actually, because you never log in.
Cookies.
But it in the end of the game, spoiler, I'm sorry if you haven't played it, but if you haven't played it, it's very past due. At the very end, you're a germ in a discount
bottle of mayonnaise, which is just really gross.
Like
and then
on
you
a
just
clearance rack.
yeah, you go through this whole store and then you just throw it away. They just throw it away.
You mean to tell me that you're a germ on the wing, on the fly, on the hair, on the wart, on the toe, on the foot, on the leg, on the frog, on the bump, on the log, in the hole, in the bottom of the sea, Caleb? You're a germ? You're a germ on the wing, on the fly, on the hair, on the wart, on the toe, on the foot, on the leg, on the frog, on the bump, on the log, in the hole, in the bottom of the sea?
It's clipping.
You're clipping the microphone.
You're a germ?
Okay, good.
You're a germ?
Good.
You're a germ at the bottom of the sea?
Viewers, press 1 in the chat if you'd like Paul to be excluded from the
Press one.
podcast in the next episode. If I could press... Trevor, can you press 1 for me in my stead? That'd be great.
1 in the chat.
Trevor's got it. Alright. Anyway, Ben.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, like, I think the games that I've enjoyed playing the most have been games that usually kind of break the formula or do something new. And it seems like recently a lot of like AAA releases have been very like formulaic.
Would you
Or
like to
just
call out any specific AAA releases?
Doom would be one that's very recent because first of all, it's a remake. It's a first-person shooter. It has a linear story, and you literally just go through the game collecting guns.
Hold
it's
up.
like very stereotypical.
Hold up.
The whole point of Doom, though.
Caleb wanted you to call out a AAA game that's been really repetitive and going like with the same formula over and over, and your first one was Doom.
Well, that's the one that's been most recently played, but I really think that game was like.
And you didn't go with Call of Duty or
yeah,
Battlefield
those are like
or any other
that's
AAA
low
game?
hanging fruit though. Like everybody calls that one out.
I disagree with what you
love
stand.
Doom.
I disagree with what you think. What you're saying. I get what you're saying about Doom and how it is, but that's the point of Doom, and it's bringing it. While it is a remaster, it's bringing it back. You can just look at it as a sequel, but it's a completely different game than how the first one plays. Because there's no melee, there's no platforming, there's no. Dude, and the fact that every single mission in that game is just jam-packed with secrets that they don't tell you about. They don't.
Well,
they give you
but here's what I'm gonna say though: the description I gave of Doom, you could describe so many AAA releases with. I could describe like Wolfenstein, Halo, like I'm sure there's more. I really just don't play those games, but
Call of Duty, Battlefield.
yeah, like all of those games, it's like the same pattern, and obviously it sells well.
Homefront?
Yeah, Homefront.
Wow, Caleb, I didn't know that you could cure AIDS.
Caleb Cole. Well. You're
This is
welcome.
on the chat, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Somebody
random.
said cured my AIDS.
Gave
well,
you AIDS?
Cured. I don't know how to respond. You're welcome, first of all.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you're
He's a
welcome,
wizard.
Definitely. Second of all, I will try to do that for more patients.
An AIDS was. No, all right. So, what are so?
I think, Paul, you probably have a response to this.
To the AIDS thing?
No, to the AAA games.
Yeah,
They're
Paul's
like
more of
super
our-
generic.
Paul's our single-player video game kind of guy.
I'm not arguing. There's definitely the problem is I think there are a lot of games, especially AAA's, that are definitely very formulaic, and I think it is annoying, and you do want to see it break the mold. But you play video games for more than just the gameplay in most things. I play Wolfenstein or Doom because I like the story that's associated with them. Doom is not a story. Wolfenstein has a cool lore around it.
And that's one thing I'd like to say about Call of Duty is Black Ops. Like the original Black Ops story was awesome. I loved playing through that. Like it had great twists, but I will admit the gameplay and the style of game is extremely repetitive.
But like, and I definitely see that. But I think you see a lot of indie games that run into the same thing. I see a lot of what you see. Like, I see a lot of what you're playing in Hyper Light Drifter right now. I see in Guacamelee. You know.
Oh, actually, I thought Hyper Light Drifter is a little like stereotypical. Because I was thinking about this earlier today when I was in the shower when I had my best thoughts. And I was thinking, actually, the way that game plays out is almost the same as like you could describe Doom, because you literally go through and you upgrade your gun, and it kind of like the game has this illusion of not being a linear storyline, but you have to go this like here first, then there, and then here, and then down there.
But you
and
have
it's like
to.
it's all like, well, not always. Like Fez would be an example of a game where you could just go anywhere and do anything, and it was actually.
Give a quick description of that.
Fez is see, this is like a really cool game. So
This is cool.
it's a 2D game where you can change the world. So like you can rotate the world, It's hard to describe, but basically you have all
That's
those.
really cool.
It's a big cube, and you're on the face of the cube in a 2D game, and then you can rotate it, and then like move over here.
Kind of like
rotate it
how,
back.
like if you're playing like a Legend of Zelda game, like you'd have like this square, and you're looking direct, or not like an old version, like Link to the Past, or like the style of game the Hyperlight Drifter is. Like you're always looking down at like a 45-degree angle, so you can rotate that world.
Or no,
Well,
actually,
no,
it's
Because I mean,
face on, but it
Fez
works
is
that way.
more like playing a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
Because there's like certain parts of the game where like, you know, on a Rubik's Cube you can only get like the orange square to come to a certain point if you like move it over right and over left. Then like on Fez you have to like flip the world one way, grab something, flip the world another way, come through a door, and then flip it another way to get to the like final thing. You like it's a 2D game going in a 3D space.
You should look it up.
It's a really cool game. But
I haven't played it, but
Hotline Miami.
yeah, whoa, bro, dude. That's what I was gonna say. Hotline Miami is like I'm not the biggest indie game player out of. I think you two play much more than I do. I am a victim of the AAA, but when you play games for as long as I just am attached to these franchises. Yes, I'm excited for Dead Rising 4 because it's still gonna be the same game. I'm gonna go and there's gonna be the same weapons still, but like Hotline Miami is one of the few games that I've played. Like I still haven't beaten that game, but like that game is just it's indie. It's indie. It's a Steam game, top down. It's gory. It's cool. The audio's cool. It's something that you can just. It's just something that's different. It's fucking hard. It's frustrating.
I think this is
You have
Andrew
this
Rose.
square, aka Trevor. Just not as caliber as a
This is
all
Andrew Rose.
What? Yeah, that has to be.
Hi, Andrew Rose.
Welcome to Chat Pack.
But the most like Hotline Miami is like one of the games that like will always stick out to me. But the other indie game that I really liked was State of Decay. That was like it came out in like during the flood of zombie games, but it was finally a zombie game that like was brutal on you because it was permadeath. You had to be consistent with supplies. You had to always get shit for your settlements, and like you always had to go get supplies to build stuff. And if you didn't, people died, people got infected, and there were major consequences for that. And you couldn't do certain things without doing that stuff, but. It's cool to see that they're getting a sequel. I don't know if I'll call it an indie game anymore now that Microsoft's been backing them as much as they have been. But like, it's cool. But also, I think the other thing too is being a person who's played mostly Microsoft my entire life and not PC or PS4. I haven't seen a lot of the indie games, but the indie game I'm most excited for is Cuphead. If you haven't seen Cuphead, it's styled in a old school Mickey. You should look it up. It's supposed to be hard, brutal, and styled like old, like early Mickey Mouse cartoons. I don't know the year. I want to say the 1930s, but I feel like that's too early. But like that game is gonna be dope. They just announced that there's platforming. It's not just boss battles. It's gonna be something I want to stream for sure. So my last one, I don't know if it's an indie game, but let me see if I can find it. Yeah, no, what?
Please stand by.
What?
Flipping.
Anyway, it's Freedom Fighters. Freedom Fighters. Ah!
Oh, I've heard a little bit about Freedom Fighters.
Games. This game is the best game ever made about somebody invading America. And it's dope because you literally just take New York back from the Soviets with an all-rebel force, and you start out as like an OG plumber dude.
That's pretty cool.
I was actually gonna say though, like
It's
I
not
was
an
kind
indie
of
game because EA Games made it.
well, but I mean, there's kind of
EA Games made a game that's not sports.
but no, I was gonna say like
make some games that aren't sports.
Definitely.
Well, wait, didn't EA make, or no, DICE made Battlefield. Didn't EA buy DICE?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I was gonna say because I thought EA.
take it back.
EA
Sports.
Don't they make Battlefield too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dice does all that.
Oh, EA bought. Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought EA not DICE made Battlefield.
No, DICE made it first.
EA also makes NBA Street, which is one of the most
NBA Street Vault 2 is the greatest basketball game of all time.
So much fun.
Oh, the point I was gonna make earlier though, you said me and him play a lot more indie games. I think that comes from like the PC gaming kind of community because like we game more on PC. I feel like, and that's just like Xbox has been open to it a little more with the Xbox Marketplace with like indie games and stuff. But it's you're more AAA games, we're more.
Yeah, I think that
everything.
my absolute favorite games are indie games.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of thinking about like what makes indie games so cool, and a lot of times it's that when you're a small like group of developers, just like a couple of guys, you're not afraid to take a risk and just do something totally new.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking that this is a weird thing to say, but I actually want to commend Blizzard because I think recently they have done some cool stuff, like making new games, and I would say Overwatch and Hearthstone, especially Hearthstone, are like totally new. And they're not just following a formula or doing something like.
You think Overwatch doesn't follow the formula?
I think
Overwatch is definitely.
I disagree.
I think they're pulling from all the formulas.
but they're
and
not
they
like.
made kind of their own game.
Yeah,
I think Overwatch is just straight stealing TF2.
But TF2 did not have like the.
I think it's heavily influenced, but
It's definitely.
I mean, like
influenced.
the framework is 100% TF2. Like, yeah, they've got more characters, and they have like a little bit more in-depth gameplay and like mechanics. But I feel like the general, that's not the hard part. Is like as much as like the basic idea for a game is like the hard part to me.
Well, but when you think about like a big studio that's basically living off of an MMO, to go out and say we're going to make a first-person shooter and we're going to make it like maybe one game that's had some success, and we're going to try to carry our franchise with that game. That's a really big risk.
I don't think Blizzard lives off World of Warcraft.
Well, not so much anymore, but
Warcraft
before
was-
Hearthstone and Overwatch.
Also, like Heroes of the Storm,
But dude,
Dota League of Legends.
yeah, it didn't.
But the reason why that's what I'm saying, I don't think this is kind of different than the indie games thing with Blizzard. StarCraft Brood War? Literally, I mean, Warcraft
was not
3?
that successful either. It was just kind of
StarCraft 2 wasn't that successful, but Brood War is a sport in Korea. It was like, Brood War was like, all right, one of the things that like people started being like, video games are a sport. You're like, yeah, because people watch it in Korea. That's like real, because that's where video games are just like bigger. But like, this is a side topic. I just disagree with you that Blizzard's been banking because World of Warcraft came after Warcraft 3, after StarCraft, after Warcraft 2.
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, no, they haven't totally like subsisted off of World of Warcraft, but
it's one of their most popular games.
I mean, it's like the #1 seller in PC gaming.
I mean, it still consistently has like 10 million people.
Yeah, and they're all paying subscriptions to play that game. Like, they're making so much money, and if you want to keep a company at that level, you have to have a cash cow.
At the same time that Overwatch launched, there was like 2 other games that are almost identical that launched. Battleborn, and I think there's like one other one called like Heroes of something, and they both have just tanked because the Blizzard machine has just pushed Overwatch to everything.
Yeah.
Like
they really
Overwatch, I didn't even like play or look at a single thing that was Overwatch, and it was a part of my life every day because I would see a commercial for it, or I'd see a bunch of shit on Reddit about it, or something would pop up on Twitter about it. Like,
if there's one thing
Blizzard
does well, it's they advertise the crap out of their games.
But honestly, half the advertising was coming from the players.
Yeah.
I mean, like the content on Reddit. Although I know that like there's some corporate plugs and like people, like the corporate person could come in and
they mostly work for Hillary Clinton, but like
honestly, let's not get into that one.
Wobro Dude said earlier that indie games usually have a better are a more interesting art direction than AAA games. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's a good example in Hyper Light Drifter.
Yeah, Guacamelee.
I love the art.
Guacamelee is so cool.
Fez as
What
well.
is Guacamelee?
Guacamelee is this cool game when you're this like souped up Mexican wrestler that goes in between the world of the living, and you'd actually takes place in Mexico, and you just beat the shit out of really big monsters and stuff. It's really cool. Never got to beat that game.
Mexican students and all, so I like it.
You've been enthralled with Latin American culture and South American culture. It's got a lot of that like twang and a lot of references to stuff that sounds like it interests you. Some dingus. TF2 is not pond water. It's better than that. I would say. But
I don't think he was making a comparison. I think he was just
he said
I
drank pond water, aka Team
Me
Fortress.
too, on accident. It's no fun.
Team Fortress 2 is pretty fun.
Yeah, I agree.
It gets kind of boring.
What's your favorite indie game? You don't have to do favorite.
Does IDARB count as an indie?
Yeah, IDARB definitely.
Talking about a game that breaks the regular bounds, IDARB, #IDARB, stands for I It stands for I Draw Red Box, and what they did to create this game.
Wait, that's what that stands for?
Yeah, and what they did to create this game is they made a Reddit post and a Twitter post, or one or the other, and they just took all the comments, and the question on the post was, what do you want this game to be? And they just took all the comments and the info. Somebody said, should be, have a goal, it should be sports oriented like FIFA, and then somebody said it should have jetpacks, and somebody said it should be on ice or something like that. And they eventually just took all of this, and then I'm sure Bjorn spin on it, and he gave you the game IDAR,
which is very cool.
Which is very cool, and it's very cool that I'm currently winning in IDAR against Paul here. The score is currently 29-21.
Marathon, not a sprint.
Is it-
Which I'm winning.
Is it
both.
21 or 24?
It's 21.
21?
Well, 21.
Sorry. We'll be okay. Caleb, what's your topic?
I didn't really have a topic, but if you want,
We can go Trevor first.
Well, I was gonna. Mine kind of is really related to Ben's.
same.
Okay. So Trevor.
Oh, yours is too?
Yeah, well, I just kind of had the idea. I wouldn't mind talking about professional gaming.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
in the whole aspect of not only here in America and how it's on the rise, but mostly in Korea. And like Korea, like I believe South Korea especially. Like South Korea, I mean like over there, like
I don't know. North Korea has a pretty big no internet.
Kim
scene.
Jong-un is really into League of Legends and
Great at
recently
Street
Overwatch. Honestly,
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
but yeah, like the South Korean, like the gaming over there is crazy. Like the internet cafes and like the whole. I mean, like they have companies that just mine gold in MMOs and
Yeah.
sell gold. And like there's been like reports of people dying because they get like from exhaustion from playing so much and being
Literally not taking care of their bodies.
Literally-
They play that much.
yeah, because they would just like die of just like malnutrition or exhaustion.
It's
a
such
heart attack
yeah,
from the stress.
and it's such a serious concern that the government has regulations.
which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's
like
really
I'm not saying that that's not a good part of it, but I mean just like the amount of money that is funneled in, and League of Legends, the last League of Legends World Championship had more viewers than the Super Bowl. I mean, yeah,
Go Broncos.
that's impressive. Let's not talk about the Super Bowl. Shut it. But and like even like the professional gamers over there, I mean like it's not uncommon for like professional gamers to like be dating supermodels and
Yeah.
like that, like they're like famous people, they're celebrities over there, and like
Dude, I remember, this is vaguely related, but I was a big StarCraft 2 player, and my favorite player was named Idra.
did you date a supermodel?
No, but he did.
Really?
And I was like a 14-year-old kid, and I see this fucking nerd. Like, this guy is such a nerd. He's like, comes up, and he's like interviewing, and they mention something about his girlfriend. He's like, oh, come over here. And it's just this extremely hot woman. And I'm like, what the fuck? This dude plays StarCraft 2 for a living, and he's got this fucking chick crazy about it?
His hands hurt from playing video games.
Yeah, I was so blown away. I was like, this is...
Didn't you play a game with Idra?
Yeah, Heroes of the Storm.
Oh.
I never played it. I was never good enough to play him in StarCraft 2, but I did play him in Heroes of the Storm, so...
It's impressive though.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Idra's a cool guy.
What do you guys think about professional gaming?
I think it's awesome.
I think it's the next big thing.
Revenge of the Nerds.
I think you'll see a sports centered like channel like develop. I think there'll be.
ESPN has started to pick it up.
If ESPN doesn't do their own show, like their own little thing on their cable network, someone else will.
I was thinking about this, though. Do you think that it's actually going to go to TV, or do you
Yes.
think it's just going to stay online?
The most recent CS:GO tournaments was on CBS, I think. No, Cartoon Network, maybe.
Nah,
They were on a
probably
channel
TBS. Probably like TBS, something
maybe,
like that.
or CBS. But my sister at home was like bugging my parents to get off the TV because she wanted to watch the CS:GO tournament. And my mom like comes upstairs and she's like, your sister's watching like people play video games on TV. And I was like, yeah, it's like a tournament. And she's like, no, but like she's just watching them play a video game. I'm like, yeah, Mom,
I
that's
don't want
the
to
thing
watch
now.
that on a TV. I would rather like stream it online.
I mean, that's the same thing.
No.
No, but like, I mean, it's just the argument of how long you think TV is actually going to be around or something like that.
I mean, even here, we don't have a TV, or we don't have
We don't
TV.
have cable.
Yeah, we don't have cable.
but we watch TV.
But we have cable network. We have cable network shows.
Yeah, but
See-
if CS goes on, I'm gonna go to Twitch or I'm gonna go to like a Zubu before I'm gonna go to ESPN.
Well,
Bullshit. I want ESPN to throw all that money on it, dude. It'll be the
No.
freaking... Dude, are you kidding me?
I've learned that
ESPN to
anytime-
fund a tournament, to the camera work, the people there, the security, the streamline, dude. Hire the... Dude, I'm just saying, for Smash is the only thing that I've been, like, decently exposed to a professional scene. If ESPN paid the best TOs to come in and run a tournament and let them streamline it, that's the best. That's got to be the best way.
What I've learned is as soon as corporate sponsorships hit anything, it just goes. It usually just sucks. I'm sorry, but like every time, like even like Smash 4, like Nintendo is sponsoring Smash 4, and the last Smash 4, like not the last Smash 4 tournament, but it was Evo or maybe CEO or one of those big tournaments. I mean, like they had so many corporate sponsorships, and like there's so much more commercials, and there's so much more downtime, and that's bad for the players because then they have to spend more time waiting and sitting, and like more anxiety building up for the matches.
I think there are counterexamples to that.
if I could just catch you guys for a sec. Wobro said ESPN's run by Disney, which is run by the Lizards, and it would be corporate as shit. Or corporate as fuck, I'm not really sure.
Run by the Lizards.
And it would have all the issues of AAA games in TV form.
I agree.
Points for Caleb.
I agree.
Well, but I mean, I think the counterexample to that would be League of Legends, because at a time, they were losing a lot of money
The
running it
most
as a...
toxic community.
Yeah, I'm not a
Really?
huge fan of League of Legends.
Oh,
Dota 2 might be worse, but...
Yeah, but like Dota 2 like almost is like.
But,
I
but
read
the-
about Smash. I read about Melee on ESPN.
Well, hang on. But
That's
let me
very
get back,
different from
let me
like
get back to-
ESPN covering something to ESPN running something. Whole very different.
Well, the thing is, Riot Games poured an enormous amount of money, far more than they were making running like a pro scene and having all that into the League of Legends Championship Series, and it became a huge success. And that's something that ESPN could do. But I just don't want to see ESPN ever touch it. I want to see ESPN tank.
I'd like to say...
Yeah, I'd love to see. It's a big fuck you to.
Yeah, and I would never watch something on ESPN because I think it's just like it's icky. I don't like it. I don't want to see it on SportsCenter. Like,
I'd like to say though, to what you're kind of about, the most recent, the Dota, what is it, international tournament, and then the Rocket League tournament, which like just ended today. Those were both put on, I think, all on their own with whatever company is sponsoring them,
Which
that
is
sort of thing.
awesome.
And their
Awesome.
production value was incredible. I was
Oh, yeah.
fully impressed. But the only thing I don't like is that the commentators are just not up to par yet.
Commentating.
They're just
But
terrible.
that's like, and that's what like kind of it sounds like what you're going off of is I don't want to see ESPN reaping any of the benefits from the stuff that 10 years ago they were like, look at all these, like
a year
yeah.
ago. Like
a year ago,
yeah.
Like, and I don't want to see any of those big corporate or corporations making any money off of that. I want to see them tank.
Well, I mean, if you like when you think
100%.
about the video game community, it's like guys on Reddit, which is basically like they're running their own subreddit, they're running their own thing. Twitch, which is a relatively new website. Some guy basically started it.
which
and
was
it's-
bought out by Google.
Yeah, well, it's been bought out, but it's still like it's kind of ours, you know? Like
I mean,
it feels like we have like
when
brought that
Google
up.
when Google buys things, they get better.
Yeah, Google.
I think
like
actually it's
what Google
Amazon
does.
that owns them.
No, it's Google.
No, yeah, I think Amazon does own Twitch.
Google was gonna buy them, but Amazon like swooped in.
Yeah, which Amazon is
Oh,
still
Google
like
owns YouTube.
Jeff Bezos kind of knows what he's doing, but like
Yeah, but I mean, like,
CEO.
I guess like it doesn't feel right to watch that stuff on ESPN. But I mean, if you look back at like Brood War, which is like the original esport, which was in Korea, like in the '90s.
that's what I'm gonna
Yeah.
say. That's the second time you guys have mentioned Brood War. I don't even know what that
90s?
is.
Yeah,
First
like,
literal
StarCraft.
90s?
It's
like
the
late.
expansion of StarCraft 1.
Yeah, and so this game was
Was this PC?
The best
Yeah,
RTS
PC.
ever made, StarCraft Brood War.
yeah, definitely the best RTS.
Oh wait,
Is that what you played on NCT?
Yeah, StarCraft Brood
That's
War.
just-
Okay.
So is that
You can
it was
get-
an expansion of
Yeah,
that?
and it makes it so much better. There's
But-
a bunch of new units and
Both
stuff.
being educated.
But the point is that game had 2 TV networks
Yeah.
on television broadcasting like every match. And that is kind of what carried it from like, oh, this is like a cool game to like, oh, more people watch StarCraft Brood War at a time in South Korea than they watch soccer. It was the #1 sport in South Korea.
No.
Yeah.
You guys keep talking about watching on like TV channels. I think the world is shifting it towards streaming, like internet streaming. And like earlier, I loved being able to turn on the Rocket League Championship on Twitch on my TV upstairs and just let it be on. And I kind of forgot if they were sponsored by Mobile One. So like on occasion, it would cut over, it'd be a little Mobile One commercial, and then it'd cut back to like whatever. And it's just, you know, I don't have to deal with like
Talk about somebody
cable
I don't
networks
see
and all
reaping
this.
benefits as an oil company. Not to get on that. Fuck oil companies.
I'm just saying,
Hey, genius
the era of no commercials on that, it's coming to an end.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and plus the shift.
commercials run everything.
ESPN,
online.
no one can create any
Or
content
ads.
without ads. There's just no way. But even the shift from cable, you might not have TV. If you start streaming, ESPN will still be there. We have, you know, all that shit on. Everyone will switch from just being a cable. They'll be able to do things.
Yeah.
But like, if you look at it, it's going to be interesting. This is a completely different topic. Maybe we'll save it for another time. But radio's still around. So what's going to happen to TV? You know, because it's just like a bunch of people stop. You know, people still listen to the radio.
Like if everyone shifts to streaming, I just want to see Comcast.
Also, to be honest,
But they'll just shift to streaming. They'll just shift to being an internet provider.
also
You know what I mean?
there's still a big market for people with radio. Like, I feel like the reason why radio is still alive is there's still a lot of people over 35, over 40 who like to listen to the radio. Because how many people really, like under 30, do you think consistently listen to a radio channel?
I always listen in the car.
Really? You think?
Dude, with the ability to have apps like iHeartRadio to tune into, like, say I'm out here, if I wanted to listen to a radio station from back home, now I can do that.
You know, if
And
you
I
think
count
about
that
it,
as listening to the radio, even though I'm still online,
Is
but
it
I'm still
connecting to a
listening.
radio station?
Yeah, I mean, you just take their feed.
Do you actually do that though?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I don't do it as much, but now that I work at a radio station, I don't listen to the radio that much because I'm at the radio and
Well,
there
but
all day.
I'm gonna say, like, even if like radio as it was ends, they still produce content that people are interested in, and that's just going to become podcasts, and it's going to become online like streaming shows.
What's interesting
It's
too
just a
is
thing.
satellite radio took off. It was a huge thing. XM was huge, Sirius was huge. XM kind of fell, Sirius took them over, whatever. Now it's like, who even has satellite radio?
Well, I think it's just a standard thing in cars, and if people want to listen to it, you can still get that content, because there's a lot of good content on XM. Commercial free,
Oh, no, yeah.
you know.
Like, satellite radio is cool, but like, I just,
People who can
both
afford
my
it, man.
parents had it for a while, and now they don't. They don't really care for it. They have their music on their phones. They have apps on their phones they can listen to. They have
Not everyone knows
radio
how
and
to
stuff.
work those apps. They can work
Yeah.
a dashboard on a car, but they can't work on, you know.
But that's again what I'm saying. People under 30, under 25.
But like,
So-
also our generation's so obsessed with living in the past. You know, millennials are obsessed with nostalgia and living in the past and all that stuff. And
I wouldn't say living in the
I
past.
think
just
more
say,
about the
Are you
style.
liking
No, we like to make old things new.
which is what happened.
I
with
wouldn't say we
satellite.
live in the past, though.
I think that's very true for styles and not so much for technology.
No, but I'd still say that, like,
I feel like that's not.
We
very
like,
relevant.
they're trying to make
technology that reminds us of old technology, though.
let's engage the chat here. We got
Yeah,
some
that's what I
stuff
was gonna
going
say.
on.
We got stuff.
Radio has less cost to operate, absolutely. Radio is also a drastically different medium than
The
TV,
last
but
big Halo tournament saw a new large product to the game: TV and internet Xfinity.
Could you
Got
elaborate on that?
sponsorships.
Because I watched some of the Halo tournament. I don't know what he's talking about.
Sponsorships.
Oh, just being sponsored by.
So
Xfinity?
he was saying, like, there's a day where like people would sell keyboards and like RAM. Those would be the sponsors. And so you were just talking about Mobile One,
Yeah,
and there's
they
a little bit
sponsored-
more diversification of sponsors who are willing to like invest in.
So you're saying like sponsorships outside of just like revolving around the gaming community.
yeah,
So,
it would be cool to.
Mobile
I mean,
One's not like a computer company or like
Exactly.
something that would be pertaining to
But if
gaming.
somebody playing Rocket League wants to go put one in their car.
Yeah,
what
that's
Paul's talking
what I was saying. A genius move by Mobile One to sponsor a car game,
Well,
a
and
car
dude-
sports game.
And not only that partnership lets Mobile One put a Rocket, if they could talk it, put a Rocket League sticker right on their bottle, and then
And
dude,
they
that'll
got
sell.
a huge
That'll
group of demographic of people that will buy Mobile One because they're like, oh, Rocket League.
I wonder if you'll see
Oh,
like,
free title or free car topper for Mobile One if you buy this bottle.
That'd be cool
Oh,
as fuck.
great!
I wonder if you'll see reciprocal, sponsorships like maybe on like Mobile One's NASCAR there'll be like a Rocket League sticker or something. That'd be pretty interesting. I don't know how exactly that would work.
There was,
Dude.
wasn't there a World of Warcraft NASCAR?
I don't know. I remember just talking about like
Gaming's
okay,
cool now.
Like,
gaming is cool now.
like Coke and Pepsi. I actually went to MLG in Columbus when I was in high school, and they had these like giant Dr. Pepper booths everywhere. Like you could not go anywhere without seeing Dr. Pepper. And I think it's funny, but like it's very true.
What a terrible pop, by the way.
What?
Terrible.
Dr. Pepper?
No.
Oh, that's outrageous.
I love
Dr. Pepper's
Dr.
good.
Dr. Pepper, like, honestly, like, that hits my mouth, and I'm like, oh, like, it just reminds me.
You don't like the, what is it, 28
23
flavors?
flavors.
23 flavors?
It's terrible. Make up your decision if you're a cola or if you're a root beer.
Root beer
The
sucks.
new
It's your drink of the agnostic.
They have an MD.
So,
What is it? Dr.
so 13 Beans is saying the new markets need to appeal to younger generations through esports. I think he's saying like the people who are advertising through esports want to reach the younger demographic that's watching esports.
Actually, I think males
I'd agree with
between like 13 and like 25 are the hardest demographic to reach as far as advertising goes.
Well,
That's another problem. Sorry.
What?
You were talking about toxicity in gaming communities. That's another kind of issue with esports. Is it's a lot of like 15 to 25 white males.
I'd like to go back to what Ben just
but
said.
if you look at that,
Sorry.
sorry. He's talking about toxicity.
Oh, excuse you.
I have a comment on the toxicity.
Go ahead.
Professional sports have arguably more toxic fan bases, so it's kind of just what happens when you just get more and more people involved. You're getting more and more
I think
people.
it's anybody.
You get assholes involved.
Also-
Yeah, Caleb.
Caleb.
Well, I want to go back to what you said earlier, but talking about toxicity, it's very interesting to see how toxicity like kind of ceases to exist in a face-to-face community. Like obviously I have a lot of experience in the Super Smash Bros. Melee community, and I also have a lot of experience in the League of Legends community. And a little bit back, I don't do it so much anymore, but like the amount of toxicity thrown both ways, including for me, I got caught up in it, playing League of Legends. You can turn into a real toxic player. I think
And
you can-
Overwatch.
a little bit Overwatch, not nearly as much, but like sometimes people just suck. That's how the world works.
Our boy.
Hey, LFC
Oh, what up,
23,
LFC?
welcome
We're
back.
very happy to see you back. We're talking about toxicity in gaming and a bunch of other stuff right now. But anyways, like in Super Smash Bros, like the toxicity, it's still there a little bit, and it's almost cliquey in demographic. Like Pittsburgh and Northeast Ohio, I like go at it sometimes, and Pittsburgh and Columbus, and Pittsburgh and everyone.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh is. I love you guys, but you're toxic as hell. I don't know why.
Aliens.
But anyway, it's really interesting that people will be so toxic when they know they can be safe and they don't have to deal with that interaction and the confrontation. Well,
Yeah.
what was it that you said that's really sparked me earlier?
So I was saying that as far as like if you're looking for a demographic that's hard to reach as an advertiser,
Why? Why is it 13 to 25?
I don't know. I just remember hearing that statistic. I think probably because a lot of kids just sit at home on the internet.
I also think it's just because
Well-
that 13 to 25 age is like it's a point in your life where you're very malleable and you're constantly learning and you're forming your own opinions and you're trying to decide who you're going to become.
You see that
About the,
connection?
yeah, I think it's him.
Yeah, keep going.
Our connection's great.
Okay.
I'm checking it right now. No, but I think that demographic's hard to reach too, is because we're always so interested in the newest things.
Yeah,
we're right in that
constantly
range. So
moving
like,
forward.
the new phone comes out, we want it. The new whatever comes out, we want it. The new game, we want to play it. Like that sort of thing. So marketers don't know how to access us because they're always a step behind whatever the newest
Which is
like
awesome.
ability to
Yeah,
reach
it's
us
good
with.
that we're not so
Like,
susceptible to marketing.
YouTube all of a sudden has all these ads, so people start advertising. Then we get ad blocker, and we're like, "Fuck YouTube."
And to
then we
me,
get,
like,
Twitch,
there's, there's very, very few ads that ever catch a hold of me because even a good ad, usually most of the time, I'm like, sure. I'm just so incredibly cynical to all ads and to just
And I think
Have
we
you-
usually
sorry.
are very social, and so a lot of times you can like figure out if something's good or bad talking to your friends or talking to somebody you know. Where if you're maybe older and like you kind of live in a very not diversified group, I think you can be more susceptible to advertising. I kind of gone really far off topic with that actually.
Yeah, the chat is great right now. So let's see. So Overdude's having some connection issues, which I think is not us. I think our connection's great. Then LFC wanted to help him out, and he said he wants to see Caleb's beautiful body, and the chat agreed.
If we get 25 subscribers, maybe we will.
Yeah, if we get 25 subscribers, I will absolutely take off my shirt for this. I don't know if
I don't think anyone wanted you to take off their shirt.
Or followers, not subscribers.
Yeah.
Followers, guys. Followers.
Yeah, it's actually
Just click the
two different things
follow
on
button.
Twitch.
Just click it.
Eventually, subscribers.
Yeah.
Eventually,
We'll get there.
Yeah.
You just need 1,000 followers. Or something.
But
You know
Caleb's
it.
pretty easy. He'll take his shirt off for followers.
It's 25. Or $10.
All right, let's wrap it back in. Where are we going?
I think it's safe to say that professional gaming is on the rise. It will be
For
something. As much as you guys don't like it, I don't think it's going to avoid the corporate eye. It will be. You will see more and more tournaments. I think being
I
sponsored.
think it just takes a few brave and strong-willed gaming developers. People who aren't so obsessed with making an incredible amount of money and just having this game that let's say the Rocket League community, it's a game that people love. A good example of something like that is Chance the Rapper. Chance the Rapper is music. Not everybody, but so many people liked it, and he still hasn't signed the label. And yeah, I'm sure he pays. He takes sponsorships and stuff like that. But he doesn't sell his content to a bigger organization. That's the big thing: is owning the content and not selling it out to a larger corporation.
I'd argue though with Rocket League that they are. I think a game like Rocket League's more influenced by the big publishers than you think. Exclusive features, because so much of the cosmetic items and stuff that you can get in Rocket League are from different games, different companies, different things. You can get flags. My flag
But
is
that's okay. My whole thing is the way that they
Yeah,
run
ooh,
it.
We have a really interesting
Yeah,
Really?
I love that.
thoughts
What's
on
that
esports reaching the Olympics.
Honestly,
I wanna talk
we were
about
talking. We were thinking about that. I don't think that's too far off. I think it's still a couple more cycles.
I also don't think, to be honest, as I'm huge into esports, I love Super Smash Bros. Melee, I'm pretty into Overwatch, and I like games like that, but I don't think esports has a place in the Olympics. I feel like the Olympics is a physical,
Not mental.
That is definitely.
No, I don't think
Well,
mental as much.
you bring up a good point because you don't see chess at the Olympics.
Yeah, that's a game that would have been at the Olympics.
Yeah, and there's no place for chess in the Olympics. I'm sorry. Chess
Well,
has its
you
own
could
thing.
argue that it should be there. I think you can,
could, but I
but
would
it's
shut
not
it
there.
down.
Yeah, it's not there. So, I mean, I guess the argument somebody would say is a person who plays chess, I'm not going to call him an athlete, but if they play a full game, they'll lose body weight because they will consume so many calories just thinking. And I think
Sweating, probably.
Yeah, somebody lost
Your heartbeat.
Yeah, you're sweating, just thinking, burning all of those calories. Somebody lost 2.5 pounds playing just one game of chess.
13 Bean said Olympics used to host art competitions in the early 20th century.
Interesting.
That'd be
I
something
never
cool
knew
if it
that.
was maybe not as prestigious as it, but still part of the event. That might be something.
That's
there was some
definitely a
other.
finesse thing,
They're saying you can argue that about anything with your competition point.
That's another example though of esports being absorbed into a larger.
Esports is being absorbed in that mainstream culture. Video games are officially mainstream culture.
But they
now.
can still become mainstream culture. Excuse me. They can still be a mainstream culture, but they could be their own thing. They could be Olympics,
I agree
and then
with
there could be the esports world championship run by something totally different. That's not the Olympic committee. I don't think they need to be a part of the Olympics. They're so big in this. They've already generated so much interest that I think that they could have that worldwide recognition completely on their own.
And let's face it, if they did end up being in the Olympics, it would just give South Korea so many more gold medals.
What about shooting though?
Shooting is interesting.
Do you have to be? Would you say shooting is physical as much as it is just timing and?
Isn't shooting
That's precision?
Is shooting its own thing, or is shooting a part of the triathlon thing?
No, it's its own thing. The first medal of the Olympics was air rifle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And it's just target shooting. You stand and you just.
Well,
I think that's
her name was the most American name I've ever heard. It was Virginia Thrasher.
Oh wow.
That's who won us the first gold medal.
Yay,
That's the most American name.
very physical though. It's hand-eye coordination, and because
Because you don't have racing. Racing would be the same thing.
They have
Racing too.
cycling
I
race.
think-
They have cycling.
It's literally operating a machine.
I think that could be in the Olympics. I mean, like, but this, like, well, I guess that's
Is cycling
like,
not racing?
Well, cycling, it's really like you're using an instrument, but it's all your physical like ability, you know.
But I think, Trevor's our car guy over here. Racing, like, takes a pretty big physical toll
Yeah.
on you.
I think
Those
if you
dudes-
make an argument
it's
for
very
racing,
different.
Those
and
dudes that do
it's-
the Le Mans
very
24
similar
hours,
to-
like,
Well, racing's not in
crazy.
the Olympics, correct?
I don't think so.
Car racing?
Not car racing.
Yeah, so
So,
I was
I
gonna
mean,
say if
So
you,
maybe that, like,
but if you're just operating a steering wheel, how different is that from using a keyboard?
it's very true. It's
You know,
that's a very
that's-
good argument.
I wouldn't put those in the same boat. Because,
Why
like,
not?
well, you're not just operating a steering wheel. Like,
You're
when
using a
racing
manual
car,
shift. You're using your pedals.
You're using feet, you're using arms, using everything, but also you have physics acting on you constantly. Like some of like the IndyCar guys, they take multiple G turns and they have to fight passing out sometimes, and that's a physical thing. That's not
Physical fitness.
Yeah, like you're not sitting at your keyboard like.
some miles per hour.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure, like,
And like your reaction times. Granted, playing video games, your reaction times have to
pretty
be
much
just
everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
just as good. But like with racing, perception, reaction times, physical conditioning.
You know, I think
whole
like
bunch of stuff.
the more you talk about it, it's really hard to draw a line, and I think it might just be better
Yeah.
not to mix them.
Um,
I think me and Caleb
well,
were a little isolationist.
In the
about
chat
this.
here, Stacy D Pro had a good point. She said, "Let's have a separate gaming Olympics. International teams playing each other in different gaming categories." That's kind of
That's a cool idea.
You
That'd be
already
like
kind of have that separated by game, but it'd be cool to have a
it all
bunch
come
of games.
together.
like
A
an
4-year
Iron Man.
event.
Yeah.
A 4-year event hosted
Dude.
by.
I would lose it if they did.
Yeah,
did
I
that.
would watch so
That'd
many
be cool.
games. That would be the best in the world coming to see literally and like compete for something like a medal like that. That
And
would be
host
dope.
it in one place somewhere in the world, and then you could just jump between games. You're like, today I want to watch some people compete in Dota.
And guess
tomorrow I
what?
wanna
You
watch
don't need to
people
build a
compete in
bunch of
whatever.
infrastructure for that.
Yeah,
You got
You already
hotels
have
and
it.
banquet
you
halls
need
and all
a
that
good
stuff.
internet connection, and you're good. But what's kind of interesting about that is esports are so international already.
Yeah.
They're not like local sports. Like even like an example of baseball, where it's like kind of international, but like there's concerns about that.
Once in the Olympics reboot and coming back.
Yeah,
in
coming
2020.
back. But like almost all esports, maybe not Melee. Melee's kind of a weird thing, but no, they even have like some European influence.
Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden.
Well, I mean, like, the debatable, or, like, probably the best player in the world, like, is from Sweden, Armada. And
Yeah.
one of the other best is Leffen. But that, it's interesting because,
Wasn't Leffen who couldn't get into whatever country?
yeah, his visa, and that's
Yeah.
another thing,
That's a whole crazy
about,
thing.
yeah, like, one of the best players and would have been very influential in one of the world's biggest Melee competition, wasn't allowed into the country because his visa was denied.
Yeah, it's really interesting that they don't get like passes as athletes
Yeah.
right off the bat, which then kind of raises the question: are you an athlete?
Yeah, but that's also, that's one of the main problems because anybody would have been allowed in for League of Legends. Guaranteed.
Well,
Guaranteed they would have.
That's Riot's influence right there. If we
Ex-
go back to ESPN, that would not happen if ESPN was sponsoring.
And at this
Okay.
point, Super Smash
ESPN
Bros.
is
community
well,
is like
yeah.
practically. It's kind of interesting, I could talk about that community for days, but it's practically an indie game now because it wasn't. But like, there's absolutely no support from Nintendo. They don't like it. They don't want anything, which
They want Wii U.
is incredibly bad decision by
It's
them.
Nintendo.
It's incredibly bad. Nintendo, if you're listening, you're so dumb.
Hey,
You're so dumb.
To that point, did you see? So, Pokemon Go came out. Pokemon Go blew up. Nintendo's stock went up a bunch.
Oh, this is
Then
so funny.
everyone figured out that Nintendo didn't make Pokemon Go because it was made by Niantic, that used to be a Google company, just with the licensing. And then Nintendo's stock just went and dropped. It was like the
Which is
lowest it's
like-
ever been.
How would you buy stock without doing research?
Because people are dumb. Going back to LFC's point about
Yeah.
the Olympics, something different. It was about amateur athletes rising to fame, but now famous athletes take part in everything. It's annoying as fuck. I'm assuming is what you said.
Or a
I don't agree with you here. If I'm watching the Olympics, I want the best. I want, to be totally honest, I want LeBron James, I want Steph Curry, I want all the guys from the basketball, like, I want the best teams, just
No.
thinking basketball at the top of my head. I want LeBron James on my team, even though he's not, and he has all the right to say no because there's so many good basketball players here, but I'm watching the Olympics.
Man, we
I'm
might
watching
lose.
I'm watching the Olympics. Like, I'm watching the best. I don't care if you're rich. I don't care if you're famous. Granted that gives you stuff, but the best runners in the world, we watch this on on Vice and stuff, run. just in their African towns, all they do is run, and they are formed from champions from these impoverished places. But they're the best because they put the effort in. If you're the best, you're the best. I don't care if you got the money. I don't care if you got the sponsorship.
So-
if you're the best and can back it up, for example, do you not want to see Usain Bolt race? Do you not want to see Michael Phelps swim? I want to watch every single time Michael Phelps is in the pool.
I think that really more comes from like a place like, good examples like the movie Miracle. Like the movie Miracle was a bunch of amateur hockey players from college, and they took all of these players together.
Was it?
And made,
Sorry, Miracle on Ice is the movie, I think.
Well,
It's
the movie's Miracle.
Oh,
and it was
is?
called The Miracle on
Oh,
Ice.
okay. Sorry, I didn't really correct you wrongly. Then.
You're all in the same boat.
Anyway. So it was they just took a bunch of amateur hockey players and put them together, and they.
What? The chat's all over the place. I don't know what's going on.
I decided to interrupt again.
Stay on topic.
Okay.
Stay on topic.
I would just like to say, I agree with you. I want to watch the best in the world at the Olympics. But to LFC's point, this Olympics has been a shit show. And that's all I'd like to say. But that's not because of the rich athletes and whatever,
I think it's
chaos.
like, they people like the idea of seeing like new up and comers rising to that
Yeah.
fame. But I agree with, in the end, I want to see the best at whatever it is, the best in the world. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see Michael Phelps not swim just because Michael Phelps is the best already and we know that.
It's also interesting sometimes to see a Titan fall, too.
Yeah.
When there's
So it is an upset?
Oh, we got a follower.
Yes.
We got a follower.
Awesome. By the way, if you're listening to this and you enjoy this, please give us a follow.
Freshie74 is
You'll
now
get to see
following us.
Carlton dance on the screen, all because you clicked that follow button. You can't turn that up.
And thanks for joining us too.
Yeah.
But
Alright.
you are right. We should stay on topic.
So-
The topic is currently professional gaming, so we are going to move on to Trevor's topic.
That's what I was gonna say. So we're past an hour here on our podcast.
That's
so
fine.
I
Let's
just
keep
want
going.
to finish it
We got
off.
all these guys hanging out.
Yeah, for sure. No, so moving on, I guess.
Actually,
just
can I
wanna-
stop you right there and say maybe, I'm sorry, but maybe at the end, if we could maybe give the chat like a moment, we'll like hang out for a little bit
Oh yeah.
and like just like talk with the chat a little bit. If there's something you want to bring up, like we could just talk about that after the podcast. Get a little
Yeah.
discussion going.
Why don't we do that?
Yeah.
But I expect it to come back in Tokyo. That's a good.
Let's go to Trevor.
Tokyo. All right. So my topic, I would just like to talk about what is each of yours like favorite game of all time, and in sense of like what were you just like so obsessed with? You breathed it day and night while you played it.
You're talking about
and
video
you
games,
just
right?
love it. Yeah, video games.
Super Smash Bros. Melee, 100%.
I figured that would be your answer.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there anything you want to elaborate on that? Or?
That's the best game ever created, and it's going to be the best game ever created. Nobody's ever going to touch that. The depth on accident, like they didn't mean for
That's
that
the
to be.
funniest bit,
It
guys.
was a beautiful accident.
Yeah.
That was, in the words of Wife, from the Super Smash Bros. Documentary that you guys should all check out on YouTube. It's an 8-part, maybe 9-part series.
It's actually really good to watch. I
Really-
have like no Melee experience, and I watched that, and it was really good.
I have no Melee experience, and I watched that, and now I play Melee a lot, and I'm ranked number 2 in this area. Number 1, hopefully, after this season.
All right. So Caleb's favorite game of all time is Smash Brothers Melee. Ben.
So this is a really like tough one because I really have two, but I think
StarCraft.
Let's talk about it.
no. My number one game of all time is Spore, with the expansion pack.
He's a biology major.
Okay.
No, I didn't play the main game at all. I just thought the Creature Creator was so much fun, and like I got really into like sharing my stuff and like doing all of the online community. Like I actually made a bunch of friends playing that game, and that was like my developmental years. I just have such a fond spot for that game. I loved it,
I
absolutely.
can respect that.
Yeah, which is funny because that game is like notorious for just being awful and like really hated by a lot of people, but and it's actually the reason it never got a sequel, which is such a bummer. But I really, really like that game.
What's your second one?
My second one is
alright.
StarCraft 2.
Okay.
Just because I got so into that game, I would practice that game for like 2 to 3 hours a day.
Did you ever have like regimens? Like I would come home from class and I would practice like wave shining for like 10 minutes, and then I'd practice drill shine, like all moves in Melee that are pretty difficult. Or at the time they were difficult. Now they're very easy, but
Oh no, I was
same set
cleaning,
of things.
yeah, I was cleaning out my desk and I found this like piece of paper I had, and on the piece of paper I taped it above my computer screen, and I just wrote down every mistake I made. And then I had another.
And then you said them out loud.
Well, no, I guess I'm not as like auditory as you, but I would like write it all down, and then on the other side, I would write down all the things I was trying to remember to do, and I was just like very like intently focused, trying to win as hard as I could, and very into it. I'm like already, I feel so old I couldn't do that again. I was like just crazy.
Alright. We got some chat real quick. First of all, Stacy DPro said, once the Olympics are in Tokyo, we get to see some Mobile Suit Gundam battles, which would be so dope.
That would be insane.
I would love that. And then someone asked if you could elaborate on Spore, so the synopsis of Spore.
This
Not a lot of
is-
people.
Before you
Or a
start
lot of
that,
people
I'd just like to give a shout out to Not King. He's one of my fellow Toledo Smashers.
Oh, there we
He's
go.
the man, and also just has organized his little heart out for tournaments in Toledo. One of the reasons why we still have a scene there. Thank you,
Alright.
King.
Big shout out to Not Kane.
Yeah.
Elaborate on Sport? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Real quick, brief.
Yeah, so Spore is like, it's a game where you basically start as like a cell and you evolve all the way up to being like a galactic civilization.
Talk about a game breaking device.
you got another follower.
Awesome.
Hey!
Awesome.
And what's really like cool about that game is all of the game modes in that sucked. But what was really cool is you had this really like developed creature creator, which is almost like having a program like ZBrush, where you could just mix and match and do really, really cool things. And it's kind of like what Caleb was saying earlier, where like it was an accidental success. Because there's so many glitches that you would use to be able to do things that you couldn't do normally, to make things look really, really, really cool. And it was just like Melee in that way. And I just really love it. It's like, that game's so dead, don't try to play it. it's like, it's totally gone now. But it was really cool back in like 2010.
I feel like some of the classic games, like things that made them, things that made them classic was sometimes there would be a glitch or something that everyone, would find and they could use, and it was just like part of the game, and the game makers could do nothing about it, but sometimes it made the game better.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think that's kind of going away, especially with AAA games, because they push through so many patches and stuff, but it's kind of being retained in indie games. Whereas,
Yeah, it's
like,
very interesting.
they'll fix things that's game breaking, but sometimes there's things that pop up that, like, the game makers didn't plan on happening, and it makes the game really awesome.
Yeah, so I think like a lot of like philosophies of game makers is to have perfect balance, and I think that's actually just a really bad idea. And I think sometimes game makers will come through with too many patches and too many changes. See League of Legends, where like it just it's crappy and you hate it, and like you
Yeah.
leave the game and come back 3 months later and everything has changed.
It also doesn't give time for the meta to develop.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like why like Smash Bros. Or like Melee. Sorry to go back to this a million times, but like Melee, like has never changed since they released it, and like the meta is constantly evolving. I mean, like even just recently, like they
20XX too could drastically change that as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 20XX is like a training pack. It's like a mod for the game, but it allows you to repeat situations over and over again and set up certain percentages and situations.
I'd like to point out to Not Kane, Melee is not our favorite game of all time, it's Caleb's favorite game of all
actually,
time.
We're talking to Melee fans. Melee, there's no other video game on the planet other than Melee.
But
I'm sorry.
Paul,
Sorry, yeah.
favorite game.
I'm like Mojo Hippie. She said, or he or she. I don't know why I said she. I was just going with whatever.
The name is Pink.
They said they were or that they have too many favorite games. I'm the same way. If I had to pick one favorite game, it would be Fallout 3 because I've put over 350 to 400 hours into that game. Me and my best friend from growing up, Will. We literally went to Washington, D.C., inspired by Fallout 3, and went through each, like, historic place and was talking about how it relates to Fallout. I asked our tour guide, because I can't remember what it is, but there's a place in Fallout 3 that there's a secret shrine to Abraham Lincoln, and it's one of the places that you go on your tour of DC, and I asked our tour guide if there was a secret shrine to Abraham Lincoln in the basement of that place, and he had no idea. So that's definitely my like all-time favorite game. Another one that I was like you're saying, obsessed with, Dead Rising 1. Had to get the Mega Man gun. Had to, like, that game was just like, I don't know, man. Because it's just different than the the other ones that are coming out. It's gonna be different than 4. Like that one is still my favorite.
It's just the
'cause
OG Dead
It's just it's just so cool because it's like the other Dead Risings are so over the top. This one, I'm literally sitting in the mall throwing plates at zombies. Like the soda cans were like way overpowered and could like explode the heads of zombies. Like soccer balls would kick and ricochet off of like 30 zombies and
Bend
like
it like
kill them.
Beckham.
Yeah, and it was just like so crazy. The another one, Gears was brought up there. Gears War 3.
Gears is great.
Gears War 3 and Gears War 2 Horde mode. Me and my buddy Will,
Horde
like
mode.
my like best friend growing up, like we sat in class and drew up maps of Blood Drive of Gears of War 2, saying, "All right, this is where we're setting up our shields. This is where we're going in." Like, got yelled at in class and thought we were like hanging, like passing notes and stuff like
Dude,
that.
Beans was saying that was Beans' favorite game.
Yeah, dude, and Gears of War 4, can't wait for that. And then my last one is Galaga, the actual arcade game, because me and my cousin, we inspired by the documentary King of Kong: A Fistful of Quarters, went to the world's largest classic arcade and participated in a classic video game tournament. That's my competitive gaming. I've competed in classic arcade games.
Dude,
got crushed. There are people that are talk about games that are all about patterns and stuff.
dude, we definitely need to go to a barcade because out in Columbus there's a couple of them and they are a blast. You like
Definitely.
games are free to play as long as you're drinking and you drink and you play arcade games, classic arcade games. It's incredible.
Oh man, it's the best.
Trevor?
Yeah.
Well, first I'd like to say a whole bunch of stuff in the chat. I'm trying to follow along. Mass Effect is good. So
I had too much talking for me.
LFC, yeah. LFC mentioned the Arkham series. I love the Arkham series.
I
Huge fan of the
agree.
Arkham series.
Just never played them or something.
Fallout 3 is just a classic to me. I spent a lot of hours in that, just like you, Paul. I gotta say though, the game that brought me to this topic and I obsessed over for so long, Halo, specifically Halo 3.
Dude, good call.
I bought a 360 because of Halo 3. I spent my 7th grade through like 10th grade years playing Halo 3. I lived and breathed Halo 3. I had all the achievements. Halo 3 to this day is the only game I've beat 100%. I had all the achievements, everything that you could do in the game I beat. I got unlocked everything, legendary, everything. And I've even I've expanded, I've read the books, I've gone beyond just the game. I've played all the games that have come out since. I could tell you anything about the lore of Halo 3. I love Halo.
Halo 3, man, when that game came out, like all my friends had it. Everyone was playing it. You got home from school, you got home from practice, you got on Xbox, and you got on in Halo. And my friends were obsessed with Forge and did that stuff. I had one of my buddies growing up in middle school that made all the crazy stuff in Forge. I hear you,
Forge,
man.
I lived Forge too, and I
Halo
love
3.
creating things.
Best Halo.
Loved Halo 3. Not can't say the Halo 3 ODST, super underrated storyline. Loved ODST. So many people hated it, and I hated that.
I liked ODST.
I loved ODST, and especially from knowing all the. We got another follower.
That's what I'm talking about.
No, especially knowing just the story of Halo 3.
Comes off.
Oh man. Don't. We're gonna get to 24 and be like.
Trevor's seen it up in this, but he's not getting some more.
Let's see. Shout out to Path's Bra 633
Not a fan of Halo?
for following
LFC?
us. Oh man, that's tough for me.
I can understand though.
I liked you, LFC.
I see
liked
why
you.
though.
Yeah, no, I understand. Like the mode of shooting is very different from other shooters because it's like I feel like other shooters have physics. And Halo doesn't seem to have physics. Like it does, but like when you jump in Halo 3, like everything stays perfectly still. But you jump and it's just a box that never shudders or wavers.
When I moved from playing so much Halo 3 to a lot of my friends moved on to the Call of Duty series and other things, and I could never get the hang of sniping in other games because in Halo 3,
so easy.
Sniping is just on a rail. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't even have to zoom. You just you run around and you fire off the sniper rifle like a shotgun, and it was great.
I think it's easier to play that way. I mean, it's not realistic, but it's fun.
Now that Paul's gone, we can talk shit to the stream about Paul.
Let's see.
guys can't
Halo,
smell it,
COD,
it's
Battlefield, all
bad.
good games, but always overrated. Yeah.
Oh, hello, Paul.
No. What is this?
No.
What are you bringing out right now?
In the chat.
What did the chat say? If you
There's a lot
hit your
of
follower goal, all of you have to take
okay.
shots. Okay, well, we will take
right.
absolutely. If we reach 25 followers, we'll take shots.
You don't have to follow.
Good idea, Arcane.
So
There it is.
we've got a bottle of 3 olives. And
to
when we hit
olives.
follower goal of 25 followers, are you all listening? We will take shots.
And
Which will probably
take
happen
your
in
shirt
the
off.
next 2 episodes.
And then Caleb's shirt will come off because he will have done 1 shot.
Not denying that.
I'm trying to think if there's any other game that I was obsessed over, and nothing's really coming to
I
mind.
would say my second one probably that I've logged a lot of hours in is PlanetSide 2.
I never
Which-
played that.
I don't think it's not a very main. I mean, it's like not a super mainstream game, kind of a mainstream game. I think PlanetSide was hugely popular. They made PlanetSide 2, which brought all the fans forward. One follow equals 1 shot for the day.
But Caleb, you can keep your shirt on, please, God.
Thank you, 13 Beans, for wanting Caleb to keep his shirt on.
Must be a woman.
No, but PlanetSide 2, I think that's one of my favorite games just because I got into PC gaming, and then that was one of the first games I picked up with it being free to play.
I'll take a shot if someone follows.
PlanetSide 2, though, I like on Steam. I probably have 400 hours in it. I've played a lot of PlanetSide 2, and I've like done a lot in PlanetSide 2, and it's a really like interesting game in that I don't know if you guys know you can have like up to I think it's like 400 people battling at once in online, and like it's I used to always freak out to Caleb because like sometimes it's like a movie, like an action movie. Like one time, if you've ever seen in Star Wars Episode 2, The Clone Wars, when they come hovering in on all the drop ships and
Yeah,
they
I've
drop
heard
all
you
the
use this example before.
So I had that happen in a game. We had our whole team in gunships, drop ships, and we came flying into this valley, and we dropped right behind the enemy's base, and it was at night, and it was crazy, and like you could see all your guys coming in the gunships. It was incredible.
PlanetSide does a good job. See, that's like, because it's really hard to take a modern shooter and put a new spin on it, but PlanetSide really did a good
Yeah.
job of that, like on a
And
mass scale. It's like an MMO.
For a
but it's
free-to-play game, the graphics are incredible.
Yeah.
Like, for a
I always thought they were.
free-to-play game.
I always thought they were bad because I ran it on my laptop that like had like a very minimal graphics card, and I saw you running it, and it's beautiful. Like, and you like the shadows and the world in the background.
I was like, Caleb, run to that thing, and you're like, what thing? And I look over, I'm like, why does your game look like shit?
It's just a loop, and like I'm trying to see far more detail.
I was actually going to say the Portal 2. LFC, I agree. Portal 2 is really, really great. It's one of the few games that the
Love Portal.
sequel, I would say, is better than the original. I loved Portal 2. It was so cool. And I think that's one of those games where, like, the story is so incredible I could watch it as a movie easily.
Hey, shout out to Path Zebra 633. If your friend passing away, that's sad. And if you're watching our stuff and that makes you smile, we like making you smile. So thanks for joining us.
Let us know other things that we can do that'll make us smile.
Yeah. Speaking of PlanetSide, which games would be popular esports but never really broke into the scene? Mario freaking baseball. The greatest baseball game of all time. Where we'll be streaming it exclusively right here at twitch.tv chatback, and I will dominate and I will show the world I'm champion. I'm number one. Number one.
A little bit of backstory. Quiet for the microphone. Jeez Louise. Paul and our good friend Vinsanity, another Melee player. He sucks at Melee though.
I wouldn't even call him a melee player.
Yeah, really. He's more of like a brawl kid, you know.
Oh
But
my
anyway,
god.
they have quite the rivalry, and we will be streaming a lot of Mario Baseball with commentary and a stat book, and we will have stats somewhere available online, maybe a separate link to a Google Docs or something like that.
It's
but-
going to be better than ESPN.
yeah, it'll be very
With
well
real
done, very
baseball.
polished, and we have some experienced commentators who did some commentating on, high school football, high school baseball, other, definitely some professional Melee too. But yeah, stay tuned for that. That's going to be exciting.
Microphone courtesy Yeesh. I'm sorry, I'm bombastic.
I'd also like to say the DA Link went. He mentioned PlanetSide 2 is one of the few shooter games I would say is a little too big. That's actually the reason that I kind of stopped playing is sometimes you would get into a multiplayer match and you would just be wandering around alone for hours and you would never find any action and then you would just log out because boring. But
There was Red Dead Redemption talk earlier. I'm actually
Yeah.
playing that. If you guys want me to, if you guys are ever interested and want to join me in it, I'm a little far. But I don't know, maybe if you guys have been playing it via backwards compatibility with the Xbox One, if you guys are having problems with the multiplayer, let me know, because I have been yet, because like you were saying earlier, I can't remember who was bringing it up, Red Dead Online is amazing. It's like, it was super cool, super unique, but I just saw that earlier. That's another like favorite game.
Thanks, 13 Beans. I didn't realize his username is The Delinquent. The Delinquent. I didn't even put that together at all.
Oh,
That's why I said the delinquent.
Dude, I couldn't figure it out either. I'd be like,
Yeah.
what is them?
I read it for a while.
Yeah.
Thank you, 13 Beans, for pointing that out.
Well, I think just not to turn it. I think we're gonna.
You didn't make it chat pack level idiot proof though. That's what you gotta do if you want us to know.
Trevor, I think you
We're
should
lower into that.
go in and change the topic here to
Chat.
to just chat pack chat.
Chat pack chat blabber.
Well, how about chat with the chat pack?
Chat with the chat pack, and I don't know, you guys bring us some
Or
topics.
chat interaction.
Let's talk about stuff. What you guys want to talk about? Well, bro, dude, y'all ever play The Witcher? No. Might get into it.
Heard that game's great.
It is
huge,
very,
though.
very
This has
good.
been
Very
tough to
good.
play that.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's really good.
Pick up 3 as
You
well.
know that lore. You know that high fantasy with me.
Yeah.
I was gonna
I'm
actually-
really into high fantasy kind of
The
stuff.
Witcher's
Love
up
it.
You know, the point of that game is you like hunt down, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you're like a badass dude that hunts down like mythical creatures.
Yeah.
That's
Sucks them up with a lot of magic and shit.
Isn't it like really? It's supposed to be really
Huge.
well done,
Very
beautiful
huge.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the story is not like taken at face value. It's very deep. It has like complicated choices you have to make.
There's a lot of stuff that,
Influences the storyline. It's cool.
I'd like to interrupt. Speaking of badass dudes hunting down mythical creatures, God of War. I know none of you guys are like Sony or PlayStation
Played
players.
3 though.
God of War is sweet.
God of War 3 is a great game.
That's a cool game. God of
Really
War 3
like-
is really cool.
It's the cool idea, the fact that you can kill gods and like you're fighting Greek mythology. Like it's cool. It's over the top and crazy, but like that
Yo.
God of War 3 is crazy.
I like LFCs here. Game
Yeah.
that has made you cry.
Like from emotion or from like
Well,
anger?
so
Or
not games
from-
games you were so excited
Ego
for,
Blitz.
and then you played it and it ruined your life. Are you talking about games you're so excited for and then they're awful?
I think that's what they meant.
Wait,
And I wanna
wait.
take
We gotta stick with one at a time. Games that made you cry. I cried during Dom's death in Gears of War 3. Not gonna lie.
Oh,
Dom dies?
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. No, dude. In Gears 2, when fucking Ty blew his head off,
Oh yeah,
that was rough
that was rough.
for me.
Oh, this is
Spoilers.
going way back.
Spoilers.
Republic Commando. Anybody?
Oh,
it's an old Star Wars game.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
In the end of that game, Sev, like one of my favorite character, gets left behind, but he's like, "Go on without me," and then everybody's like, "Sev," and then the ship blows up, and
And
you're
you're
like,
like,
"Yeah." And I'm not gonna lie, I was like 8 or 9 or 10. I probably would cry if I played it right now, though. To be honest, it was very emotional.
Video games, dude. You know they have some
Like a movie.
emotional moments, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But it's
I
kind of
think-
more integrated than a movie.
I'm
It's
gonna
more
have to
immersive.
say, I'm forgetting the name now. Made by Naughty Dog, the huge.
Crash Bandicoot.
Uncharted?
No,
Crash Bandicoot.
no, the fucking
Crash Bandicoot Racing.
with the
Jackal,
guy
it's a
in the
Jackal,
zombie,
Jackal.
the zombie apocalypse world.
Oh, Last of Us.
Last of Us.
Oh.
I never played that game, but I watched a dude stream it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm choking up."
it's a tough game, man.
Yeah,
It's
like
I would
that
get
game
it.
gets to you.
Last of Us, you did. LFC is just saying that Walking Dead series 1 and 2. You know, we got 2 people saying Last of Us. That game.
Yeah,
That game.
Another person Last of Us. That Last
Yeah.
of Us, I've never played it either, but I sat down and watched about the beginning, like 5% maybe of the game. Like my buddy was playing it, and it is like a movie, but better done. It's incredible.
The opening of that game, it gives you chills when you're running with your daughter at the beginning, and it's just the
Yeah.
outbreak, and you lose your daughter right in the beginning, dude. That game, The Last of Us, is probably the best game to come out.
Your daughter
And-
dies right at the beginning.
yeah.
I don't
Like
remember.
you're
I think it might have. Well, yeah, it's the very beginning.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
But The Last of Us, I would say, is probably the best game of last generation. I don't even have a PS3. I mean, that game, just from the gameplay work, the story work,
Who made
Naughty Dog,
Oh,
dude.
you know, like Last
I
of
know
Us
it
was
makes
last
good
generation?
games.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
They
Specifically
made
Crash
it.
Team Racing.
They brought it to PS4.
okay.
I've never heard of that.
Crash Team Racing is an incredible game.
That was
I
just
would
Mario
cry
Kart.
over that if I lost to my dad when he played Neo Cortex and I was Crash Bandicoot. I would cry.
Way back in chat, someone said Mario Kart. I would like to say the newest Mario Kart, I don't know if you guys have played it, it's really fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Double Dash is the gold standard for me, but the new one is really fun.
Dude, and
Every Mario Kart is good.
Yeah,
Every Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Even the Super Nintendo version, like the very
Like
first
the
one.
OG Mario Kart.
Yeah, super fun.
Super cool.
Not kidding. Thanks for joining us. Whoa, bro, dude. What about Viva Pinata? Underrated game. That game is dope.
Viva Pinata.
That's so dope.
Woo.
Let's switch over from crying games to. I want to go back to. I believe it was LFC.
Glitchy
football.
games?
No. I'd like to move on to games that you were so hyped up about, and then you were like, "Wow, this game sucks."
Yeah.
Like, well, something. Give me an example.
Evolve.
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 Oh,
It was a cool
yeah.
premise. I was hyped on it.
That was the 4-player co-op.
Yeah,
wasn't
4-player and you hunt
Yeah.
the monsters. And
Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
yeah,
Oh, man.
Brawl. Yeah, dude, Brawl definitely. I've played so many video games that that could happen. That could happen. Some games I hyped up myself and then they turn out to be.
I think that happens a lot with competitive games, like Heroes of the Storm is one that many people.
I was never hyped about that game though.
Really?
I knew it was good.
I was pretty hyped about it just because I like MOBAs, but I also really like Blizzard. I like that kind of stuff, and I'm surprised. Honestly, I'm surprised Overwatch took off as well as it did because I thought it would be just another game that was super hyped and then just went. But it's just fun.
Whoa, bro, dude, are you saying that Skyrim is overrated?
man.
You better get that out of here because that's Elder
I think
Scrolls.
he's just mentioning games.
I'd like to say most disappointing game for me. This is hands down no brainer. So I'm a huge Halo fan, as I mentioned. I was so excited for Destiny because Bungie, who had made several great games, broke off from Microsoft, which I was ecstatic about because breaking away from the conglomerate. Then they announced Destiny. They were teasing it a bunch. They had all this stuff they were going to do with it. It finally came out. It was even out on PS3, which I still had. I'm bummed it wasn't out on PC because there was hype that it might be, and I'm more of a PC gamer, but got it for PS3. Huge disappointment.
Why?
Destiny,
Why was that? I heard that from a lot of people.
I don't even know. I think I built it up a lot in my mind. I thought it was going to be the next Halo for me because I loved Halo. But then went and played it. It's a cool game. It's fun. It has its moments, and it just kind of it's just kind of boring and it didn't really bring anything new to the table. I mean, it was an MMO kind of thing that's still a first-person shooter. I don't know.
After that, is Bungie still making games? Does anybody know?
And Destiny's still going on.
They're still updating Destiny. There's still people that play it.
It just wasn't
not
the
very
next
fun
big
for
hit.
me. Yeah. I mean, it has really cool mechanics, really cool lore in it, really cool guns and stuff. And I tried to get into it, and it just wasn't there.
I'm gonna ask the chat a real quick question. If we were to stream a game tonight, what would you guys like to see stream?
We have a lot of games.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to see a solo game? Do you want to see?
You're trying to do the 100 or not 100
I might
kills.
a million kills in Dead
kills.
Rising. We got iDarb. We got Red Dead. We got
We will not
Hyperlight.
respond to negative comments,
Yeah.
chicken fingers.
Yeah.
You better follow us or give us a share or something. We need something from this.
Pat Zebra's talked about Rayman a couple times. I don't know if you guys ever. I haven't played a lot. I downloaded.
Never played it.
I got a free version. I got a free one of the Raymans that was released somewhat recently. That was
I love
critically
Rayman
acclaimed.
games.
Um,
Rayman games are fun. I played the one for the Wii, and I beat that honestly really quickly. Super fun game. I haven't followed the series at all though, and I never had hyped it up, so I can't really relate on that. But I like the games.
Incomplete games. It's kind of. I haven't played an incomplete game in a while.
I don't know about incomplete games, but
Because I play on console, so they usually release pretty fine and they don't crash and shit.
actually, incomplete games and until disappointed in the game. I don't know if anyone has heard of The Dead Linger. I don't know if the chat's heard about The Dead Linger. It was a PC game, and it was an early alpha, and I bought into it because it was supposed to be a zombie game that you could do all this crazy survival stuff. You could build your whatever house that what's that called? Your base, essentially. It was borderline Minecraft mechanics, but really, really
Kinda like
AAA visuals. Yeah. And I bought into it really early, and I think they just stopped producing it. There's another follower for us.
Alrighty.
Does that mean we're all doing shots?
Yep.
I thought just Paul was doing shots if we got a follower.
Oh man.
Where you going?
Okay, yeah. The delinquent
Cheers,
said the dead linger is gone and abandoned. So that's kind of disappointing. And it sounds like LFC is heading out. So thanks
see
for
you
watching
later.
LFC.
Thank you so much for tuning in again. Hopefully you tune in next week or during the week sometime when we stream. We stream video
Deadpool
games
Plays
during the week.
is hosting us for up to 22 viewers. That's amazing. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
hosting our channel.
Appreciate
Helping us spread the chat pack
Who
love.
hosted us?
Deadpool Plays.
Deadpool Plays.
What-
Thank you,
I don't know
Deadpool
what that
Plays.
Channel is
My favorite character, other than Frank West in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Deadpool.
Yeah.
Dude, what a great movie, by the way. I just recently watched the Deadpool movie and it was amazing. I loved it. I loved it way more than I thought I would love it.
Oh, spilled some juice. Yes,
Hey,
Willie.
that's Paths Bra 633's friend. So thanks for sharing us with your buddies.
Cool, awesome.
We're about to do some shots.
Wow, another follower. Awesome.
Hey, I
Thanks,
think
guys.
that's the delinquent followed us, maybe. Thanks for the follow. I struggle every time with his username. I look at it and my brain doesn't work.
Go say hi to all of our new friends. Come on.
Oh, let him,
Let him go. Let him go.
Thank you,
Yeah,
the
there we go.
delinquent.
Alright, Paul, get in here. We're doing some shots. This is
Pat
a,
Zebra, you're the man. Thank
this
you
is
so
a
much.
chat pack first. We're all doing shots.
We gotta wait for him.
Is this okay?
I'm trying to think of
Okay, no. Oh yeah. If you guys want to go follow us on Twitter, that's where we post that we're going to be
Shots?
streaming.
Whoa, bro, dude. 3 shots each when the goal is accomplished. That's quite a bit. We're not alcoholics.
I don't want to die.
Yeah,
That's rough.
we're not drinkers. We don't, there's some college kids who are out there and drink a lot, but we are not
Can't do
those
it.
kids.
But yeah,
cannot keep
Twitter
up.
shoutouts. Follow us at Chat Pack Live on Twitter. And I don't know if you can subscribe on YouTube. That's also
Yeah,
Chat
subscribe
Pack
on our
Live.
YouTube. All the links are down below the video in our sort of channel page. And that's
YouTube too.
what. Oh yeah, link to YouTube.
Just making sure I have my proper
Chicken
list.
Fingers likes to throw the insults.
You know, we might have to throw you out.
We're doing some.
We're gonna chase and you're gonna like it. And hey, this is for all of you guys for joining us today. This is our biggest stream that we've ever had on anything. This is the bright future ahead. Anything that you guys want, send us comments, leave us comments on Twitch. Be vocal with us because we want to make this shit the best thing we can to do. So this shot is for all you guys. Cheers! Cheers to the chat pack and the chat pack viewers.
All right.
Oh, that stuff's brutal.
Yum. Actually, 3 ounces.
Oh,
really
this
not
is
that
pulp
bad.
orange juice.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, 3 hours.
Thanks for the follow,
Relatively
guys.
easy.
Do we have a streaming schedule?
Usually
No, we don't
Rucker
have
wants
much
to
of
do.
one, but
Hey, we have
we're
a
building
streaming
one.
schedule.
Actually, no. Hey,
We have a streaming schedule.
streaming schedule. We are planning on doing a No Man's Sky stream this Friday, right?
Starting at noon.
Starting at
noon on Friday.
and we're gonna do it for 24 hours. Is the plan. So
24-hour stream.
yeah, please tune in
on
if you're
PC.
interested about that game. Check it out. We'll be streaming it on PC.
If I don't do it tonight, I'm gonna play Dead Rising tomorrow. Dead Rising 3 tomorrow. We are going along in the story, so if you are looking for story stuff, we'll be doing story with that, but mostly with a focus on kills. Tuesdays are Tuesdays gaming afternoon hour with Trevor. The past 2 Tuesdays have been a mix of me and Trevor and Caleb playing some Rocket League. I'd assume that would come up.
Rocket League, a little bit of Overwatch.
Yeah, we do
I
have
might
an
throw
Xbox.
in some Fallout 4. I've been trying to get through the story.
If you,
We do have Xbox. That's the only system that we generally stream. Well, we
have-
stream some PC for sure.
Xbox One, PC. I have a PS3. We have 360.
GameCube.
Game-
we
We
have
definitely stream
GameCube. We will
GameCube.
definitely be streaming some
Um,
GameCube.
GameCube is like our biggest thing I would say in the house that we're like. I'm very about GameCube. games.
Wednesday will be competitive days where we're going to focus on playing some competitive games. IDAR, Mario Baseball, stuff like that. Thursdays, I think we should just go with Thursdays. Thursdays, we have an extensive GameCube N64 lineup that I think you guys would really enjoy. Yeah, we'll add you. We add back. And then Fridays, I don't know. what we're gonna do.
Friday's kind of our wild card day.
Yeah, Fridays are our wild card day. We haven't streamed consistently all week yet, but since you guys have all joined us, this is going to inspire us to come in and really take this to the next level because we want to.
Big Dog? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, Big Dog. With all of you guys tuning in today, this makes us want to, push it to the next level. We've our last few weeks, while we've been excited about this, it's kind of been stagnant. But to see the amount of growth in this episode specifically has been.
I mean, what have we peaked at for viewers?
We've gotten 6 followers. We've gotten 20 viewers. We've gotten hosted on the channel. This is big. So, we want to hear from you guys too. So please, please, please follow us on Twitter, tweet at us, DM us, let us know how we can take this to the next level. We could post a picture of our game cabinet, and you guys can take a look at the games if you want to see. We'll pick one out. We'll start it from the beginning. If it has choices in it, we'll make choices with the chat. We'll do all sorts of stuff.
I'd also like to say, if you want to get a hold of us during the week and stuff, please use Twitter. And give us. That's going to be the best way to get a hold of us when we're not streaming. Because if we're streaming, of course we'll pay attention to the chat and we'll interact as much as possible. But when we are not live, if you want to get a hold of us, to give us instructions, for what you want to see doing next, thank you for the follow. We appreciate it very much. But definitely tweet at us. At ChatPackLive. And if you tweet at us, with the game you want to see next, maybe we'll start the next stream. If you want to see me whoop all 3 of their ass in Melee, I'm okay with that. If you want to see me whoop Paul's ass at iDog, I'm okay with that.
It's not going to happen.
Oh, buddy, come on.
Shout out to Big Dog 617 for hitting us with the follow.
Hey, thank you, Big Dog.
Making Carlton dance up on the screen.
Also, this is early in advance as well in the future for just kind of talking to you guys about our scheduling plans. We plan to be hosting a Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament for the Athens scene, a combination of probably around 30 or so of the top players in this area. We'll see who shows up. But we're going to bring them all in. We're going to host it at the house.
With your boy in contendance of winning.
We'll have Caleb.
Not saying I will win it, but I'm saying I'm going to win it.
And we'll do a side event too and stream something different. But we definitely want to hear from you guys. But just to kind of go over some of the stuff we've talked about streaming, I want to get to 1 million kills before Dead Rising 4 comes out. That's one thing. We want you guys to get involved if we play, we want to start new games over and play through them. But we also do play a lot of Overwatch and like multiplayer type games. So if you ever want to kind of watch us play through that and talk through that, we do that too. But
one other thing is I'm planning on picking up a new indie game to play. So if you guys have any recommendations, I was looking at Papers, Please. That's the next one I might pick up. But yeah, if you have recommendations, I'll definitely listen. And
you should try to play indie once a week. And you should be Ben's indie hour or indie stream.
As for topics too, we just kind of, if you haven't noticed, we just kind of pick a few topics and ramble about them. But if you really want to see a specific topic, tweet that out as well. Because we'll definitely listen. If it's a good topic, we will sit and ramble about it for 20 minutes minimum.
Definitely hit us with some ideas throughout the week, and we'll hold on to them for Sunday and, talk about some stuff.
Definitely, and we try to stay current. And our goal too is we will stay up to date with new game releases as much as we can.
So I'd like to say real quick,
public Minecraft games.
Yeah.
I don't play Minecraft, but Ben and Trevor are Minecraft guys.
Yeah, so I ran a Minecraft server for a little while. I would totally be open to setting up like a Minecraft game with some viewers if we wanted to do that. We could totally fire up like a new map. We could even do a 24-hour stream or something like that. That would be really cool.
Yeah, maybe, also let us know. If you guys want to see 24 hours, we plan on doing 24 hours of No Man's Sky, but if you want to join us and, maybe we don't do 24 hours. That's a lot to show the same game. It's a new game, but maybe people want to see something different. If you guys want to see something different.
I mean, maybe small intermissions, maybe 4 hours on, an hour off.
Yeah, do something different just to give you a little break, but... Because I think doing this No Man's Sky stream will be our first big jump into really getting us out there. So you guys that are hosting us, you guys that are telling your friends about us right now, awesome. It's awesome. I mean, this makes us excited. This pushes us to want to do the next big things. But I can assure you, as time goes on.
Deadpool Plays. That is
really cool.
Awesome. I've never heard of that game. Can you tell me a little bit about it? But if you want to give me a free copy, I will take a free copy.
And we'll play it. We'll play it
on stream.
100%. If you guys have games you want promoted that you're working on,
no matter what it is.
you let us know. And
that's what happened with iDarb. You guys had it for free and you played it a bunch.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely. I'm trying to think of what else. We got everyone hanging out. We should play some video games.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was gonna say. Between the four of us, there will always be new games.
You know,
firing up on.
I think it's about time that Paul and I have a showdown on the street. I think that this has been a long rivalry. Currently, we have you can't really see our whiteboard, but we have a whiteboard for IDARB, not specifically for IDARB. But it's the current score is 29-21. Could be 30-21, but
Favor Caleb.
Caleb, of course. I thought that was.
So give us a second. Hang with us. We'll be in the type chat. We're gonna cut the mic off. Do we need to cut the mic off? What do we need to do?
I don't think we need to cut the mic off as much as the video.
Yeah, we're gonna switch over. All right. Well, wait, hold up, real quick, chat.
Let me give him the rigmarole.
Deadpool said that Fragmented is a sci-fi survival game available on Steam. That sounds pretty cool. We'd be down with playing that.
Grid 2. Man, I need
Yeah, Grid 2 is awesome. Grid 2 is not indie game. Grid 2 is like an old racing game, but it's a blast. And then,
Sorry to cut you off though, but Deadpool plays.
yeah.
Deadpool plays. Again, if you wanna contact us a little bit more, probably DM us on Twitter, and we can be in contact on Twitter. If you do want to give us those, or on Twitch, I don't know how that works.
It works.
It works.
Well, DM us either way, and then we can be in better contact. Especially if you want to give us free copies, that would be awesome.
Dude, Chicken Fingers is on top of the shots. Oh man, here we go.
We have to know this person.
Well, thanks for the follow.
To Chicken Fangus.
Pretty close to 25, guys.
PMing us 4 copies. I like the sound of that. Thank you, Deadpool Fully Plays.
Doing some shots then.
We are doing some shots. Hey, where's...
Realistically though, like, if you have limited copies, don't waste the copies because we all live together here, so we only realistically need 1 copy if you have a limited amount. Just so you don't waste them on us.
But yeah, let's get the
Good Arab going.
yeah. What do we need to do, Trev? You stay with the chat. You hang out.
Well, alright. So, everyone...
Wait, actually, sorry to interrupt you. I'm gonna give him the rigmarole once you're done. Are you gonna give it?
That was gonna be... I was gonna say everyone hang out while we switch.
Alright.
Okay, well here.
This is for you, Chicken Fingers.
Alright, we're doing shots first, I guess.
Paul already did his.
I got you, Trevor. Put it over.
Strip FIFA?
I hate this class.
I don't know. We try. We do an ab workout about twice a week, but I don't know if you have, or if we really have.
See all of that.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to see all of this.
All right,
maybe some of Ben's athletic body, but
To Deadpool he plays and Chicken Fangus.
Thanks for the follows. Here we go.
And the free game. Anyway, hey, y'all, this is Chat Pack Live. This is our live podcast on Sundays where we have y'all tune in, talk about random topics, and we play video games here over at twitch.tv/chat_pack.
or make fun of Ben for being an old man.
Or make fun of Ben. Or we talk about the proper way to make sandwiches. Or we talk about killing a lion with your bare hand. All of our stuff, if you guys are tuning in for the first time, is on our YouTube. All of our old shows. All of our old episodes. And some highlight clips of some of our streams. Chat Pack Live. Not just Chat Pack. Chat Pack Live. Follow us there. Subscribe. Twitter. Follow us on our tweets. Do-do-do-ba-do. We're going to play some IDARB here coming up soon. The Caleb and Paul rivalry. While I'm down 8 games in this series, this is the first that you'll see, and I will show you all that the Mustache Cops are the true champions.
Oh, Dave!